Hello, Star Wars CCG fans and players and folks who have nothing better to do on a Sunday morning than watch Twitch. Garrett Larson here, Dead Body on the forums and Slack and everything else. I put out a request last week for a few games to review, and Robbie and I did a couple, and that's up on YouTube right now as we speak. But I got a couple other games that didn't make the stream for whatever reason and thought, you know what, Self, you've got a little bit of time this morning. Nobody else is home, and the dog really doesn't care if I'm talking to him or the computer as long as somebody's talking and he gets to hear my voice. So, since I know you guys are kind of the same boat, just hearing my voice makes you happy, thought I would run a couple more of these games and just kind of review and talk about what's going on. And with Worlds coming up, people are trying new things, trying new decks. So this first one was submitted by Jay Werner. So let's see what we've got. So MJ Turner, that's Michael Turner versus J.M. Werner. Looks like we've got He is the Chosen One versus Carbon Chamber Testing. So I do see it's not the II version of Carbon Chamber Testing, which is, our fearless leader, Scotland Grell, made super popular. That's runs Carbon Chamber Testing, does not start Frozen Han or the Mithril. Instead, it takes a Rebel from you and runs like 9 copies of II, which says if Darkseid has a captive of ability greater than 1, bad things happen. About how many characters of ability greater than, I think, 2 on table, they lose force, and it doesn't make anybody happy except Scott, and Scott just likes breaking things, so it is what it is. So this looks like we've got Hitko running Anakin's Destiny, so you're going to see the new His Destiny card, which I think is really good. It's an interesting card. It's fun that it feeds off of other things. And it looks like Sense and Control stacked on I Don't Like Sand, as we see a grab for Yoda's hut. Mike MJ with the Any Methods Necessary start, grabbing Boba Fett and his assorted accoutrement. And there we see Boba Fett dropping Despair. And there's the dungeon. Pretty standard Carbon Chamber Testing CCT start. I expect we'll see. Oh, he did open hand the NA method, so he's going to get an extra force on that. He's all yours, Bounty Hunter, for the free move. Boba Fett's going to go to the audience chamber, and that should give him the flip and stick with it. So now, if Carbon Chamber Testing gets to build up that audience chamber, it can get real difficult to take them real quick, as MJ pays another activation card. So even though he spent all his force and deployed a lot of cards, he's still going into turn 2 with like 7 cards in hand, which is pretty solid for Carbon Chamber Testing. Now, JM's, he's got 7 force. He doesn't have a Luke, which is really what he needs. And I don't like any of his options in terms of trying to go attack Carbon Chamber Testing. Like, if you can get there quick, it's a good play. But if you can't get there quick, it's painful. So he draws. He does hit a Luke. He's got another Our Only Hope to go grab another site, which he's going to do right now. You did see MJ Turner drop the There's No Try, as there is a sense on I Don't Like Sand. One of those things I don't necessarily love about the sand effects, using them right to the start. Like, you can take important cards. I mean, the Sense and Control is not a huge loss, but it is cards you'd like. Oh, Mr. Turner with the Duro, and I'm assuming Duro's going to go right into IG-88. He's got his engine in place. Like, he's got Scum and Villainy on table. He's going to move the captive 2 IG and start tunnel visioning, which is the card, the light side card that lets you search your force pile. So a lot of force pile searches are colloquially referred to as tunnel visioning. So John going for the We're Doomed grab to pull the Hoojiks, which is okay, but you give up the ability to shut down You'll Be Dead later, or try and loop it, which I don't love. Throws down the Death Star 2 site. I'm going to see Yoda come down there just to flip, and I think he's just going to try and figure out somebody to go to the audience chamber with. Like, he needs a little bit more force, but now he's in a decent spot. Like, if he saves a bunch of that force, Luke's going to come down for 6. He can follow with Lando for 6, or even Leia for 5, or both potentially if he just saves. Nope, he's drawing a couple. Like, taking the audience chamber can be a difference maker here. Like, if you just let carbon chamber testing set up and own the audience chamber, you're going to struggle a little bit. He did drop battle plan, which I like, as it slows down the start a little bit. Like, CCT's got to pay to drain for their 2. But at the same time, CCT is going to have a much better time of getting and holding space. Like, Honshu and the Falcon's cute, but they're not going to hold space against alien space fleet. U-3PO comes down at Yoda's site to just stop him from doing anything. Like, we'll see the peak. He gets honor, which is okay. Plays honor, which also shuts down the You'll Be Dead if he gets it going, as long as he can keep MJ off of the 3 sites. Looks like he's just splitting up and throwing a couple guys at the carbonite chamber. I'm a little confused not to see Luke come down. Like, Ezra and Leia are nice, but they're not a scary hold the site type of crew. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, MJ's getting the cheaper deploy. He's going to throw a couple guys down. I'm assuming what we'll see here is a cancel of Leia's text, followed by a swing at somebody. Yep, cancels Leia text, so she can't cancel either of their texts. Now, I think you probably see a swing at Ezra. He grabs the control tunnel vision off. I don't like sand, which, okay. Like, if you need that tunnel vision, go nuts. You're not changing anything here, and he's not drawing an extra battle destiny, so you're not really impacting things. He does miss on the swing, which is good for John, as it's CCT doesn't necessarily have great destiny, so there's a good chance he can keep Leia alive here, and he does, or he will likely, because he'll have to lose somebody. Hey, Zeeks. A couple of your games are on deck. I just started at the top of the list here. The Ahsoka, for one, is unfortunate, as it would have... A good destiny would have caused a stack on I Feel the Conflict and his destiny burn to get started. Leia's fine right there. Like, Forlom's not particularly scary, but at the same time, like, Forlom's going to get followed up with somebody. Peek at 2 cards. I'm assuming we're going to see a control taken into... Oh, grab the bionic hand to get the Luke set up, and grabbed a blaster deflection. All right, I see where he's going with this. So I think we're just going to see a Super Luke. Luke going into the audience chamber. All right. Grabbing his lightsaber from reserve, which I like to get that one out. And it also hides potentially the fact that he's got another one in hand and can do shenanigan things with it. Unita, getting back the controls, not a terrible thing. And also just, I mean, it's Scum. Scum wants to retrieve. Throwing out a, placing an interrupt they want to use out of play isn't a bad thing. Baze is cute. And there's the big one, is Scoundrel Lando coming down as well. Darkside plays I Can't Shake Him, so if he wants to shoot, it's going to cost him force. And it's force he doesn't really have, especially now with Greedo. So he's not swinging here at all. He does get 2 Battle Destiny. That's potentially good. I really don't like that card off sand. You don't need the sense right now. There's not any major benefit to it. And the 2 Destiny was good for you. You were drawing 2 against his 1. That's good. You want to utilize that, because that's the only way you're getting rid of things. As Lando gets shot by Boba Fett's blaster rifle. Battle Destiny, there's that one that he knew was there. That's, again, one more reason, I don't like starting this battle. You're going to lose the battle here. As he draws the Ellis in Hinthra to go up to 22 power, which is fine. I mean, he's going to lose Lando. You can see in John's hand, he's got a couple copies of Somersault. I don't love those in a deck like he is the Chosen One. He's the Chosen One, you're going to run pretty high Destiny on average. And Somersault's cute, but it is only Destiny 3, and it's really only good in very specific and limited circumstances. Zuckuss and Django going to the audience chamber. I'll be honest, I don't love that play. I might have gone with them, tried to deploy Nal Hutta and missed. I might have gone Zuckuss and Django into and just take down Daughter. You're still in a really good position at the audience chamber without either one of them. You're, at best, he can fire once. You're okay with that. So Aura Singh swinging at Luke. And a 1 and a 5 is a 6, plus 1 is a 7. That's going to miss due to his lightsaber. We're going to see the Luke swinging at Aura, which I think is the right call. But again, if you deployed Zuckuss and Django against Daughter, you could probably end up with about this same result in the audience chamber, and then you could battle Daughter and get back that Aura and the guy you lost. So it's, I don't love the sequencing quite as much. I don't think you're going to overflow here, because you can't hit Luke. Luke's forfeit 9. Does, I believe, miss Baze there, though. I think Baze is an armor 5. Oh, he hits. It's a +2. I forgot. So he does hit Baze. So, you can take Lightside out of the audience chamber. And here's another time where it was a mistake to take that sense off stand. There's no need to go grab that, because you could have held onto it here and only taken 1 Battle Destiny against him. Instead, you're down 18 minus your draw. So the draw's a 4, so you're down 14, which is actually going to be down 16 as he uses Zuckuss to... Oh, so Zuckuss isn't a... Oh, yeah, Zuckuss is a draw and reset, so it changed nothing. You're down 18, or down 14, which is going to be everybody at the site. You cost him Aura and 1 other guy. I guess you're it's I don't know. Like I said, I don't love the way that ended up going out. So Canon Jarrus is not a terrible card, and there's another anti-sense alter card coming down. There's the projective, so we're going to grab that. Not a terrible grab. I mean, it's Scum. Scum's got a bunch of interrupts that are kind of obnoxious, and you kind of want to grab. So, simple tricks coming out. I don't see any benefit to that at all. Like, if they go somewhere else, they're going to have 2 battlegrounds to start retrieving with Scum. And if they ignore you, you're not getting much out of this. So it looks like he's using secret plans. I'm assuming he's trying to grab the Bionic Hand, yep, to float the 7. And yep, where MJ's smart about it, doesn't stack. I mean, he's not getting His Destiny churn going on. Looks like we've got a revert here to change the activation. And goes IG-88. Trying to get Nalhutta again. There it is. And I assume we'll see enough space that Hanchu and the Falcon is not particularly frightening, as with Scum, Darkside space comes down pretty cheap. And now he's not paying for drains, which is a big deal. And you see a little bit of spread going on because Hitko's got a pretty limited character base, and 3 of his real big hitters are in play. Like Leia, Luke, and Yoda are 3 of the bigger hitters. What's he got left? Lando, Obi with Saber, maybe. See Resistance coming down. So if he pays for that drain, it's going to be a drain of 2. Peeking at the top 2. Like, so I already grabbed the Bionic Hand, so you can give Luke another Bionic Hand. That's good, but like, MJ's just going to ignore him at this point. Like, there's no reason for him to go at him. So there's Hanchu and the Falcon in front of Woof and Ellis. And Landro Scoundrel with him. I do think MJ went lighter to space than he should have. I don't love going with that small of a presence, because Hitko wants to win battles. You want to go get stuff. This just wasn't a great play here. So Destiny total power to 2. First battle Destiny's a 3. Or excuse me, a 2 because it's -1 with Woof. And a 3. So he does crack Ellis's immunity. Ellis is immune to less than 5, so it is going to cost him something. Short-range fighters getting played to draw 5. I don't understand any of that. It doesn't crack his immunity. There's no reason to waste that card. You aren't going to lose by enough that, I mean, you're going to have to lose everything anyways. So, like, save that for some other time. As JM suddenly not in a bad position. Like, I didn't love where he was at a couple turns ago, but, like, now he's got Ahsoka, who's going to be obnoxious. And he's getting stuff moving. So he pays 1 to retrieve Landro Scoundrel. MJ does not stack. I might have there, honestly, just to take Lando out of play for them and stop the stop the need for that. He gets one back with his objective. We see Lady Proxima going in front of Yoda, along with Cad Bane. I feel like there's probably going to be a third bounty hunter here, maybe. And retrieving a bounty hunter with Jabba's Haven, grabbing the Aura Sing. So, to try and make a stand here, and I don't hate the play. So he should end up ahead of Yoda here. You see the tricks with his destiny and total power that Yoda just standing alone is power 8 right now. And those three guys are a total of 13. So swings at Yoda. That's going to hit. So Yoda's going away. And he's forfeit 0. And Darkseid's drawing 2 destiny. Like, he's got the Hoojix. You knew he had the Hoojix. But you're forcing him to play it, which isn't a terrible thing. Like, you need to win this. You want to win this battle. You want to keep this stuff going. And yeah, there's a 4 and a 5 for Battle Destiny. So you're at 22 power. I mean, you're forcing the gig. You force the Hoojix, you know it's there. It's not the worst thing to do. You're getting rid of the Drain 2 site. The 4 for Destiny is obnoxious. Okay. Loses Proxima, which means he loses the Proxima hand fill, which I think he would have liked to keep. But it does put Cad and Aura in a position where he can't just come down with anyone because they will lose their immunity. We'll see a couple drains here. Drain a 1 at Nalhutta. And JM decides wisely not to cancel it. Loses the Dark Maneuvers off top reserve. Drain of 3 at the Carbonate Chamber, which is going to be a 2. Losing a Voyeur from reserve deck and a Dark Time for the Rebellion. Peeking at the top 2. Assuming we're going to grab Chirrut. Yep. He's got some options here. It's not in a terrible position. I almost wonder if he's just going to... Okay, he grabbed Yoda. I might have just grabbed Jyn and stuck her at the Death Star 2 site and said thanks. Because, yeah, Ahsoka's going to mess up Shizor a decent amount. And Yoda following, I guess... I don't see a ton of reason for that, unless you weren't confident enough in your destiny. And a 4 wasn't going to kill Shizor either way, so you're just trying to win the battle. But you were probably going to do that anyways. Ooh! That was not what he wanted to see, although I think here's where you're going to see that somersault come into play. And again, that's the... so it switches up the Battle Destiny draws, forces a stack on I Feel the Conflict for his Destiny pull, grabs the Control Tunnel Vision. He's totally immune. Shizor's going away. All of a sudden, things are getting interesting. And you did just see, like, Somersault did a ton of work there. Like, don't get me wrong, it saved Ahsoka and gave him that sight, but at the same time, like, it's a Destiny 3. If that had been, a better Destiny, would he have needed that? Like, if he just straight draws a 5, like, you're probably actually okay just swapping Ahsoka. Like, you swap Ahsoka, Yoda's sitting there now at power 8 again. Like, you're not in that bad of a position. So... See the Drain of 2. Now we see Slave 1 Symbol of Fair along with Hondo and Dengar and Punishing 1. So he's going to take out Honshu and the Falcon. And that's, it's a swingy game right now. Like, you see the Scum Retrieval, which he gets back a Dark Time for the Rebellion and Voyeur. He's, Destiny to Power is a 1, but we'll take that into hand, and that's fine. Like, you get another Luke, but like, I don't think Luke's dying right now, so it's just getting that 1 out of the deck. So 3 Destiny to power, so we're close on power right now. You may end up stacking another card here. Yep, you're definitely gonna with that Destiny of 3. So it's 2, the total battle destiny is 3 because of Dengar and punishing 1. And yep, there's a 4. So you're out. You're down in power either way. Yep, Somersault wouldn't do any good. You're going to stack a card on Conflict, which will give Jam another card to pull from, although neither of those are particularly beneficial. Like, the Luke is cute. You'll peel it to get a Luke. He loses Holdo, and John loses the Hanshu and the Falcon, and doesn't have a replacement in hand and doesn't really have a way to get that back. Like, it was looking real good for him a turn ago, and now it's back to, I don't love the position he's in. Grabs a blaster deflection. Like, he's in a solid space if Scum tries to come at him, but like, he can't really go after Scum. He does get the Hanshu and the Falcon off of the He Will Bring Balance grab, and that's probably going to be game. Throws down Kanan Jarrus to give himself some forfeit fodder on the ship. There we go. And Chariot, I'm like, I don't like Kanan alone because a 6 still kills everybody. So this way he keeps him alive. Uses Chariot to peek and give himself a force to play with, mostly to retrieve with his objective. Destiny to power is that 1. I'm sure we'll just see that taken into hand. Yep. And there's another 1. But it doesn't really matter. Like, if his battle destiny is above a 5, it's everything. There's a 3, so he's going to be up 6. And he's going to get another card stacked. Yeah, technically, MJ is fully immune there. I don't know that I'd want to be doing much with that. All right, so he loses Slave 1, Symbol of Fear. And a Jabba Space Cruiser off the top. He's already used his Jabba's Haven once per game retrieval. So he's got 2 cards in hand. He'll go get something with IG. I hope it's something to help him in space, because he's in kind of a bad spot right now. And Zuckuss is on table, so it can't even be the old school Zuckuss and Mist Hunter that would at least potentially make things real interesting there. Drains at the Carbonate Chamber for 2. Drains at the Death Star 2 for a couple. Retrieves the ship. Like, there's another. So he's got the Ellis in hint throw, which is good. There's Mara to cover some forfeit fodder, I think. Like, at this point, that's what he needs to have. Moves IG to the prison to drop off the Mithril and retrieve a couple. And then I assume we'll see IG come grab the Mithril right back. Little surprised we haven't seen Unita throw something out of play simply to stop the retrieval. John's going to drain for 4 here. Or actually, it'll be 3 because Prophecy moved. So it'll be a 2 and 1 because of resistance. And I'm not sure. Like, gets to peek at the top 3. Yep, there's the Lando back. As I said, I wouldn't have hated even giving up his Destiny pull when John retrieved Lando simply to cut the thought of Lando coming back. Like, we see the battle here, and it's fine. Like, you're going to probably cost him Mara. You might get a stack out of it, which is really what you're trying for at this point. You want to just throw a bunch of cards on I Field of Conflict and make things interesting. Battle Destiny is a 1. I think you might see a somersault here again, as he's currently, or not. You'll just see a 1. So total Battle Destiny 2, I think you'll see Mara die. You're going to see the stack on Conflict, which will feed his Destiny again. I think he'll take an Our Only Hope. Might just see him play Our Only Hope then right away. Loses Kanan, loses Mara. I can't shake him just to stack a 5 because that 5 becomes a 6 with Dengar, and that will take down the Falcon a second time. And Anakin Skywalker retrieved into hand. That's really just a force at this point. Moves daughter to the security tower to try and bump up those drains. That's good, but I don't know. Like, it's still an interesting game, still very close in Life Force. I mean, you've got 14 down, 12 in hands, 26, so 17, 19. Like, Scum's a little behind right now, but theoretically, Scum's engine says, I'm going to retrieve a bunch of force and make things happen. Now, Hitko appears to have a lot of answers here. Like, he's got the blaster deflection to stop Luke from getting forlommed. He's got ways to keep himself alive. But you are getting a couple drains in here. 2 at the Chasm Walkway. You're going to see 2 at the audience chamber, or 1 at the audience chamber and 1 at the prison. This is an Our Only Hope. And the drain of 1 at the prison. Honestly, I'd probably lose the Anakin. Oh, I don't like losing from deck right there. You don't have enough cards down to do it. Anakin Skywalker is really only good if they come at Luke. I don't think Scum's coming at Luke. 151 in reserve as he searched for bounty. There's You'll Be Dead coming down, which is fine because he's got 3 battlegrounds for honor. There's Hondo as a pilot. Really, I think just to cover some forfeit. Moving back to the audience chamber. Like, he didn't know he was going to draw the 5, and without the 5 as a for sure draw, there's no upside to battling Honshu and the Falcon there. Moves Forlom in front of Leia, really just to force, at least in theory, a make Leia move away again, because Leia's kind of scary if you, point at her and do obnoxious things. So Voyeur comes out, grabbing Our Only Hope. So he's going to force John to lose a card. There goes a somersault from hand, which is fine. He's got another one. And MJ's starting to throw down some stuff. Cold Feet gets him code clearance, which would be really obnoxious if John were to do any sort of retrieval that was not based on just his objective. Like, I don't think it's going to actually do anything because he's not going to stack anything. So we get a couple drains going through here. Loses the He's No Good to Me Dead and Jabba. Prince Shizor and the Cold Feet, and a drain of 2 at the Carbonate Chamber, or 3 that's cut down to 2, is the Any Methods Necessary, and a Dark Time for the Valiant Link. He's got MJ real close to a clock here, and I don't think that's exactly what he... It's not where Scum wants to be. He's a few force short of being able to really do stuff right now, which is a problem for him. As we see Scoundrel Lando coming back onto Hanshuing the Falcon. I'll be honest, I think this is probably ball game. Leaves the Gick combo on top because a 2 is a 3, which Chirrut dies and he's fine. Destiny Total Power is a 1. There's that Leia again. And we're going to see a couple Battle Destiny here going. There's the Blaster Deflection for 4. And an Our Only Hope for 4. I mean, that's ball game, folks. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure what Mike thinks he's got coming back here. He draws a Total Battle Destiny of 3. Like, all right, it kills Chirrut, but he's going to stack on Conflict. He's only got 7 cards down, and he's losing 2 things off the system. Either way, just to the attrition. Like, you can't battle with just Dengar right now. Luke getting relocated using some of the fancy His Destiny text. Relocating Luke over in front of Aura and Cad. I guess. Like, that's just asking to lose Luke. Like, I get that he has the Blaster Deflection, but Cad's text is going to do it. You see the Voyeur targeting Our Only Hope, so that's going to cost him 3. Like, that's obnoxious. And pick a couple more up. Use one to keep Lando alive. Like, I'm just keeping one force, one destiny, which I think is just going to be a battle off Luke. Like, battle, use Cad Bane's text. Control to cancel the drain of 2, which isn't bad. Here's the You'll Be Dead ping for 1. Jabba Space Cruiser to join Dengar and Punishing 1. No pilot to put on it, which is... you can't start that battle. Pays 2 to get back Ellis and Hondo. And I assume the first action, yep, he's going to Cad Bane and cancel Luke's immunity. Luke's going to swing at Aura. Luke is going to hit Aura, I believe. Yep, we got a 5, and it doesn't matter what the second draw is. Luke's going to hit Aura. 5 and a 5. So Aura is very hit. I assume we'll see the Sorry About the Mess combo right here. With all those cards stacked on I Feel the Conflict. Suddenly Cad Bane's not real scary. Chooses to lose a Blaster Deflection. Okay. Like, I don't think any card in hand was going to be a big loss. So now it's 13-1, and there's the concession. Very back and forth kind of game. I appreciated the way kept things going for quite a while. Just wasn't a great game either way. I mean, Darkseid seemed to struggle quite a bit and kind of got put on their heels by not going heavy to Nal Hutta. Like, if you drop heavy enough to withstand the Hanshui and the Falcon onslaught, you're in a much, much better position. Like, then if he plays Hanshui and the Falcon, you can start battling in response and retrieving instead of reacting to stuff. That's one of the things Robbie and I talked about a bunch on Holo Theater on Thursday that you need to play proactive. Like Star Wars as a game, and especially against some of these decks, if you're playing reactive, you're losing. If you are letting your opponent dictate the pace of the game, dictate the action, you're not going to win that game because you're not driving the bus. So I think you saw here that Scum he could never get ahead and start the battle. And that's if you're not starting battles with Scum, you're struggling. And that's exactly what we saw. Is just, MJ was struggling. He couldn't get ahead to start the battle, couldn't get ahead to play. So Zeke's asking in chat, because I somehow don't have that chat menu up on the setup here, if there's any game that play a reactive style. There are decks that are designed to be reactive. The original Throne Remain style decks, the Enhanced Premier Pack guys, the Luke with Saber, Obi with Saber, where your game was to wait for them to deploy, go beat them up, and take their sites and not give them icons, plays reactive and is certainly thought of as a reactive style of deck, but it's reactive only in that sense. Like, it's actually a proactive deck choice. It's a proactive style of play that says my deck is designed not to necessarily win a 4-strain race. I'm not trying to put out my own sites and set up. I'm trying to just interfere with you and count on my guys trading more efficiently than yours. And that was really what made some of those EPPs so powerful, is you could, drop a Luke with Saber against 2 or 3 guys, especially smaller guys. You hit someone, you draw Battle Destiny, you wipe the site both ways, and you're okay with that because you're not losing anything. You're losing one guy to his 3, and long term, you win that game. So it was a reactive play style because of a very proactive choice. What you're seeing with Scum does not make those trades real effectively. What you're trying to do with Scum is make those trades net out positively by starting battles. So you go into it and say, all right, I'm going to trade my 1 guy for your 1, but I'm going to retrieve a guy when I start that battle. So you're actually effectively saying, I lose nothing to make you lose a guy. And if you're not starting battles and you're not playing that proactive attack style, you're not going to be able to make those efficient trades, and you're going to lose the game. Just like you saw here. It's a slow death because Scum, even if you're not always getting those proactive start battles, when you're getting some, you can definitely slog the game out and you run your guys and interfere. But if you're not killing his guys long term, you're not gaining that economy of people. You're not gaining the I'm losing less guys than you, and eventually I'm going to run you out of people, and then I'm just going to spread and drain you out. So it is what it is. I think Hitko played pretty well. As I said, I definitely didn't love the sand grabs and the sand plays, but they didn't end up costing him in the end, and it was still a pretty solid game. So we're going to go to another game, actually. Speaking of Zeke's, this is a game that Zeke's submitted. I believe this was 0 Hour versus Revenge of the Sith. So it's Zeke's versus Wayne Cullen. And looks like it is Revenge of the Sith Dooku, maybe? I mean, starting the 3-2 site. Revenge of the Sith. Yep, there's the Invisible Hand Bridge. Tragedy, Evil is Everywhere, and Security Precautions versus 0 Hour. 0 Hour starting standard Phoenix Squadron, Insurrection, and Walkling. This is a matchup I would generally, just sight unseen, give Revenge a huge advantage in. Like, 0 Hour struggles sometimes against big mains, and especially big mains that can just set up and take over Lothal. So let's see what we've got here. And I watch these without, I'd start these when they're submitted. I don't watch the games ahead of time, so I don't know what happens. I feel like it gives a little bit better, makes it feel at least a little bit like watching a live game and getting that discussion. So Wayne activates and draws. All right, I gotta pause for a second because I missed something. What did and Wayne draws, throws out the grabber. Okay. Didn't search for anything, didn't do anything, just activated and draws. So let's see what Zeke's grabs a sight. Insurrection for the docking bay. Phoenix Squadron to go get, looks like Mandalore. Like, he's going to have some great activation early here. Zeke's drawing as well. I don't love that play. Looks like he drew Ghosts, so he didn't have the ability to go after space right away. Like, that's kind of the... Goes with This Is Our Rebellion to peek at the top 2 and take one in hand, grabbing Chopper. Yeah, like sense and uncertain to cause a shuffle and redraw. I had a feeling Wayne did not like his hand. And I don't know. I'm not sure what he was doing here because, like, I didn't see, like, he didn't go for anything with Evil Everywhere. Gets the hallway, throws down Lord Sidious, and that's a guy 0 Hour's going to struggle to clear. Sidious with the lightsaber. He's going to be knocking out somebody. So Zeke's, obviously this is his game, so we're seeing, he says, my plans were completely redone with that redraw. I don't know. I mean, that was, like, you redrew, you don't have Ghost, which is sort of unfortunate, but you've got the Where's Han to go get Han, you've got Ahsoka, you've got Kanan, you've got Cassian, you've got Wedge, you've got Obi-Wan. Like, you've got a lot of things you can do here. So Obi-Wan alone against Lord Sidious is not one of those, though. I mean, your best case scenario here, I guess, is to hit him, and that's it. And I don't think you're hitting him with the drawing a 1 and a 5. Yep, you're missing on the hit. I think you see a swing back here. No dodge, which I don't hate. So yeah, I mean, he could have just, well, he can't exclude Obi-Wan, so, but he's going to swing and hit in all likelihood. Yep. So I don't think Blind Swing was necessarily a bad choice. Like, in a deck with good average Destiny, which you have, it's not a terrible attempt to go and just clear him. It's just a, do you have a secondary answer? If you miss the swing, can you clear him another way? Because you're not doing it with just Battle Destiny. Like, you got out of here and you lost nothing other than Obi-Wan. but you also didn't make Wayne lose anything, and now you're going to eat a drain of 4. And you lost a force for losing the Jedi. Like, I don't love how that went for you. I don't love the, the redraw definitely stung you because, yeah, you got, like, both your Leia's transports and your Rey in hand, but, like, you're not getting the stuff you would have wanted. The battle plan play, as we see the activate 3 for We Must Accelerate, to go grab sand, which is also going to be real obnoxious for you. Like, once you get flipped, he's going to sit on that for the you can't do anything to it. I don't really have anything to say about a drain of 4. Like, a drain of 4 is bad. You don't ever want to be on the receiving end of here's a force drain of 4, because it's not going to put you in a spot you want to be in. Wayne just doubling down, throws Dooku down, throws Dooku's lightsaber, and says, I'm going to drain for 5 here until you can set up resistance, so figure it out. But at the same time, like, Zeke, you've got a bunch of force now. Like, you've got to play aggressively. You've got to go straight at it. You've got you only have 1 Phoenix Squadron guy in there right now, which is going to be a struggle. Like, there's Dash and Rogue 12. I guess you're going to have to figure out a flip with Wedge as a pilot. Like, that's solid because you're avoiding getting stabbed. No, honestly, I think I honestly think getting the flip if you can, and that's the. I'm gonna pause it for a second because I've played against 0R a bunch. I haven't played again. Yeah, see, you didn't even have the ability. Well, yeah, see, you should have. I would have done Cassian instead of Rey simply so you could have flipped. Yep, that was. I see you say you forgot Rey wouldn't flip you. Like, I actually don't hate the get the flip. I don't hate Wedge on top of Sidious and Dooku there because with the sabers are worthless. Like, he's got to have it come down with maybe P-59 to have a chance to really do anything to you, because I guess your worst case scenario is just you lose Wedge. Like, Wedge forfeits for 8 and you're okay with, fine, I'll lose Wedge. Especially if you had flipped, like if you'd gone Cassian instead of Rey and eschewed the used pile pull to get them going, or you could have done Wedge up in space. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess Cassian and Wedge up in space, but here's where you run into this is the problem with mains sometimes is like, all right, so he's adding a second destiny with Newt, and yeah, you might lose that site. I think that's a 5. I think the next destiny is a 3, if memory serves, so you might just lose Wedge here. Oh, 1. So, he's shuffled for the saber, so it wasn't there. So, like, here you're really just potentially just losing Wedge. But had you flipped, you'd have at least made him think about it. So you drew a 3. That's fine. It'll kill Newt, which is cute. And you lose Wedge. Like, I honestly don't hate getting your stuff in play, getting your... That's fine. I don't really love that play. But getting stuff in play and just setting up resistance and saying, all right, fine, you can drain me for 5, but it's not going to kill me, as he went and got back Newt. Yeah, you got to dodge away here. There's the sense that you knew he had. So you're going to cost him 2, but he's willing to take that 2 force hit, I'm pretty sure. So he'll lose 2 and then the Sense. But he's probably going to draw your Hoojiks here. And you're not in a position to reflip, which is sort of the killer here. I see the swinging with Ventress's lightsaber, so I'm going to pause for a second because Ventress's lightsaber is new. What does that do? To play on any Sith. Oh, nice. If present opponent's sight, may add 1 to a drain. Can target a character twice if on Ventress. Draw 2 destiny. Subtract 2 if the weapon already fired. Hit and forfeit 0. Wow. That's a solid lightsaber for this deck. Like, the fact that you can put it on anybody is real good. Ooh, 5 and a 6. I'm pretty sure Kanan is... Kanan did not see that one coming. I don't know that you've gotten out here. Like, this is kind of where... This is the worst case scenario for 0 Hour. He's going to have 2 sights with hard to clear guys with lightsabers. And you don't have cards to clear it. You know? So Ventress wins the battle, forces you to lose another force. And you can't cancel battles here. You still could have dodged away, because dodging away isn't canceling the battle. The rules are canceling the battle when you run away like a scared little chicken. Yep, that's as the concede gets dropped, that's exactly what I expected to see there. Like, you don't have any chance of taking Lothal back. And at that point, it's all over but the crying. This is kind of worst case scenario for 0 Hour. Like, if you can't get started early, you can't abuse that adding to Destiny to clear those guys. No, you don't wish you would have gone down with Kanan on turn 1. The way you win this game is similar to what you did, but with a better subset of characters. You get all your sights out as quickly as possible, and then you because exactly what happened to Obi-Wan happens to Kanan, only slightly worse, because you don't even have a shot to kill Sidious. Like, at least with the Obi-Wan play, you had a shot to kill Sidious. Zeke's is saying, you wish you would have gone down with Kanan turn 1. Should he have changed up what his play there? The play wasn't to go down with anyone turn 1. The play was to set yourself up for the flip and then utilize the flip to dance around the guys you can't remove and remove the guys you can. Like, it's not an easy game, and this is a bad matchup for 0 Hour, because you're probably eventually running into, he's got a bunch of hard-to-clear guys with lightsabers that cause you trouble. But, again, what we talked about last game, you're really reacting to what he was doing instead of proactively saying, this is my game plan, get my game plan in place, and then I'm reacting from a position of strength. My game plan is to flip and then react and delay while pinging until I get an opening to create havoc and then try and snowball that. Without that, you're not really getting a lot done otherwise. Like, 0 Hour is a lot like Scum in that idea of you have to have a little bit of setup, and then you can play reactively because your deck is powerful in that battling reactive sense. Like, okay, you're just putting guys down, you're going after them. But you have to get that setup in place, and you have to be able to maintain that. And like I said, this is going to be a tough game because you needed to flip, you needed to set up resistance, because without that, he's just going to stack that drain. And even getting that in play, 0 Hour is going to struggle against something like this. So So we got one more game here to go. It is another game from Zeke's. And this is another 0 hour, I believe. So versus Aeneas Nick Reich. 0 hour versus Invasion. So these are both, to an extent, a little bit set up in React decks. Let's see where this goes. Yeah, Zeke's making a switch from Old Allies to 0 hour. They play definitely differently. But they're both sort of set up into do your stuff deck. The biggest thing is 0 hour definitely has less early scare punch. Like Old Allies, pre a Brave Resistance, blanking could go a little slim because there was always the fear of, like, here's a Reacting Finn and 3 Battle Destinies anywhere that Poe or Rey was. And the damage mitigation versus 0 hour, which just wants to damage mitigate by battling, either by trading you multiple guys for their 1 because they're adding 4 or 5 to their Battle Destinies, or trading you 1 or 2 guys for their 0 by subtracting your Battle Destiny down to 0, or down low enough to put you in a bad position. So this is an interesting opening hand. You've got your Yoda, you've got Sabine, you've got Ahsoka. This is a hand I would potentially look at being more aggressive in going for an early flip, simply because Invasion is less likely to have the ability to come down at you turn 1 with something like Sidious plus a lightsaber. Like, he's throwing down Phantom Menace. He's going to use There'll Be No Match for You to relocate Maul if he finds him. So you're going to have to be cautious with your Jedi, but he moves at the start of your control phase. So, like, he's got to move into you, and then you've got to turn to respond to him in some way. So, throwing down the comm tower. Phoenix Squadron to go get Mandalore. I don't hate that, but I don't love it. This is my ship to get Ghost and Hera. Like, that's solid. That's a good position to be in. I don't think you don't have the ability to go for the flip right now, and I think you just pick a couple up, exactly what you're doing, because you're activating 15 next turn, and you can start making things happen. You've already got the Sabine in hand, which is a little unfortunate, because I think the Mandalorian mishap is to grab her. I don't expect to see a lot of blasters. You see Invasion pull the hallway, throw down You'll Be Dead. Started inconsequential losses, so this is going to be some sort of blasters variant. Does not use the entire Legion by Best Toms to make them Destiny +2 with the new shielding, or at least doesn't start it. But you're going to see Battle Droid Troopers, Battle Droid Guns, quickly flipping and throwing down 9 just as some forfeit fodder up in space. Like, Nick's in a good spot right here. Nick's in a real good spot. He's shutting down your drain. He's with Tehao because he's within 2 parsecs. He's causing damage of his own. I like the position he's in. Now you're going to have to make something happen as he throws down Battle Order just to stop you from draining for 1. I don't hate that play, because you're going to struggle to take him out of the throne room. And if you can't take him out of the throne room, Naboo is always going to be a battleground, and he's perfectly happy to just sit at Naboo. Insurrection, you've activated both your docking bays every time so far, I think. Not entirely sure how that works out. You haven't played one yet, or you missed the pull last turn. The reviews sometimes go quickly enough that it's a little faster than real life. There's the home one docking bay from hand. I see Kanan at the 3-1 using Phoenix Squad to get out Zeb and grab a card with Kanan. There's another Ascension Guns, which is great when they come at you. Like, it's a really underrated card in that regard. Force Master Yoda to the 2-2. And Sabine. Yeah, I like that. Just spread, and now you're threatening every Battle Destiny. You can either be +4 or subtract 4 from his. I guess I don't mind Wedge there. I don't see a massive benefit to it, but it doesn't really hurt. So you guys are both flipped. You're just going to, take a ping, take a couple drains. You're not going to get a lot going here. I mean, this is kind of how this works. You guys are going to kind of stare at each other a little bit. Like, because you're flipped and you're set up and he doesn't have any way to mitigate that, it's hard for him to come at you with a lot of power. Like, there's General Grievous and the OWO backup. I'm expecting the Ascension Guns to get played here. He doesn't battle you, which I don't think is a terrible plan. Still trying to figure out why you're not playing the Ascension Guns, unless I'm missing something. Like, is there a secondary text I forgot about? No, this is start cycling those Ascension Guns. Try and get him to grab that instead of your Rebellion card. Yeah, I understand the Wedge there, but I think you've got the handle, you've got the Hujix. Like, maybe he comes at Sabine if you don't have Wedge there, but I don't know. I don't hate the play necessarily. I just don't. I don't think it was 100% necessary. It's fine. It was not a bad play in that regard. I apologize. I gotta adjust that and get the stream chat. Oh, never mind. It is in there because I'm good like that. I just wasn't seeing it earlier. Same. So you see the point man getting played. I was wondering why nothing was happening because I paused it. Nick just getting a couple cards in hand. Like, he's got an 8-card hand, but good gravy, activating 22 force. You only activated 20. That's solid. I mean, you want to save a couple. You don't want to get greedy and activate all of it. Throwing down Fanfare. I'm assuming to grab the Enter the Bureaucrat. And Tehao canceling the drain at Lothal. That was a mistake simply to not drain first at Lothal. Because that's the one Tehao's going to cancel. You want to get the bonuses at the sites where he's not canceling them. Drain for 1 and a drain for 2. Throwing down after her on the 3-1. It's so I don't want you to, I'm not trying to pander to anybody here. Like, I don't think it was an incorrect thought process. I understand the thought process for Wedge. And frankly, Nick had enough force and enough cards in hand. He may have gone at, if you don't play that, he might have gone after Sabine and tried to battle her, but, you're not getting beaten too badly with Sabine. Between the handle and Hujix and the threat of things like dodge, where you can just, fine, I'll leave you there. You're not in a terrible position. Like I said, honestly, the bigger mistake right now is not you didn't play the Ascension Guns last turn, because the Wedge play is defensible. Like, you don't need him in space because Teihao's not coming at you in space. So there's the Ahsoka. There's Chopper at Wedge's site to turn it into a +5, which is going to be tough. I would Blue 11, so we're just going all in on let's kill General Grievous. Oh no, Blue 11 going to the next site over. Blue 11 grabbing Rebel Princess Leia. See, like, that's the thing, is even if you'd taken Sabine out, you're okay with just, okay, fine, take Sabine. Like, tell me what happens. Dash and Rogue 12 at the home one. Okay. So I thought it clicked home run document for a minute. I'm like, what are you doing? There's the Ascension guns now to get Leia's transport. Like I said, I would have liked it last turn. Honestly, I would have liked to see Unita to get back Cassian and give you something to play with there. As he... Yeah, oh no, I'm fine with you doing it there. Don't get me wrong. The doing it there was not a big deal. It's the... You have 2 in hand. You could have done it last turn and still done it this turn. Or done it last turn and know you had the 1 there. Because if you do it last turn, then you're cycling and drawing that 2, which is really good. So the Battle Destiny of 1 and 0. That was definitely not what Nick wanted to have happen. That was a bad combo. You're totally okay with losing Dash there, as he forfeits Grievous and the droid. Puts the droid on the racks, which is good. I mean, he's activating just shy of a metric ton, so there's not a lot he needs to do here. But, you know, again, to kind of harp on the Ascension guns, like, now you can't play it. Some of these you have to take that opportunity when it's there and use the card. Oh, I hate that. Well, I guess... so Teihao, he's got to save the Force, correct? It's use... Yeah, so I kind of hate that simply because you could basically throw Leia's transport alone at Mandalore, and now you're forcing Nick to save more Force. And if he doesn't, you're in a position to do some damage. Like, it's... Isn't ideal. Okay, so we see another OWO with the droid rifle. I don't know if I love going at that site. Laser cannon battery on the Blockade flagship, along with another blaster rifle. Are we going to see him move to Lothal and make stuff? Oh, we are going to see him move to Lothal and make things interesting. Again, Ascension guns. Nick's just drawing a few right now. Like, shuttles down 9 with the blaster rifle. Like, suddenly he's got that site pretty well controlled. There's a cold feet to grab secret plans, which is just sort of a whatever. Like, I'm just not sure. Okay, there's the Ascension guns, and there's the Where's Han, but I don't think he knew that was there. So there's the Where's Han to go get Han chewing the Falcon, and you don't have another Rebel with Hera, which is what would have made it at least a little bit interesting. It's drains for 2 at the Jedi Temple, which is good because you get the +1 from after her, which also then sets up your +1 at the other 2 locations. And loses Maul from reserve deck after he lost a Maul's saber just a second ago. So Han chewing the Falcon goes to Naboo. Oh yeah, because he was flipped. He flips when he controls. So until you deployed Han chewing the Falcon, Naboo was a battleground. There's Ray going and grabbing any card. Now you get the Ascension guns rolling. All right, I see how this works. I don't listen to Garrett early, but now we start listening. I see the battle going on there. Zeb is getting shot. I don't see any reason to mess with that, Destiny. I'm kind of magical that way. You can hear me. You know, I think when you're playing, if you just think in your mind, what would Garrett do? You have a solid chance of going like 6 and 6 in the OCS. So, because that's about my average. You know, I'm better at watching after the fact and telling you what you did wrong than I am at playing it perfectly from the get-go. So, 'tis what it is. There's a big battle, Destiny. 6 plus another 5 turns that into a real obnoxious 12, which is going to cost him, I think, almost everybody. So he draws a 4 and a 6, so, or 4 and a 5. You know, so he's costing you guys too here. Like, this is not a... You're not necessarily in a great position here either. He's forfeiting the guns to use. Now he's going to start having 6s floating around there. I like the Ray loss simply because I think Ahsoka's slightly better. They're very close in basically every function, but Ahsoka's a little bit harder to hit. And the trade-off of subtracting 1 from your Destiny, especially in a game like Invasion where you're potentially drawing 2, is better than adding 1 to your total. I'm assuming we're going to see the Ghost run the heck away here. Yep. Go to Mandalore. There we go. Yep. Keep your battle plan, your battle order in play. And drew everything. I mean, you're kind of fine right now. Like, you're going to eat a little bit of a drain here, but nothing you can't handle. I probably would have lost the blaster deflection at some point. Yeah, he's shooting stuff, but like, you don't have guys with sabers that are going to come after you. There's the Darth Maul Lone Hunter. Those are good Destiny. Looks like he will, I'm assuming, lose the effect to go grab Maul's saber or not. Yep, there's the lose the effect to go grab Maul's saber from Lost. This would be a good time to play Ascension Guns, Zach. Or not. Alright, fine. You get the first blaster deflection. Oh, you can't even blaster deflection because Maul says weapon destinies can't be modified or canceled, so you can't do anything about that. Well, yeah, so there's no value in using the blaster deflection there. Normally, I hate, if they swing twice, let the first swing go through, because if they miss, then you cancel the second, and if they hit, they were going to hit anyways. In this case, he can swing at Chopper and kill a little more forfeit. Well, I guess he wasn't going to because of the Battle Destiny, so you're going to subtract 5. Oh. Alright, I would have subtracted 5. So you could keep Chopper alive there. And instead, you don't really need the 6. So I'd have subtracted the 5. I'd have kept Chopper alive. And Kanan versus a naked battle droid is okay. Like, I'd take that match. Like, fine, he might kill Kanan, but, like, you're not doing anything with it as he moves back to Naboo, which you're actually okay with because now he doesn't have a battleground system, so the drains don't do quite as much. You got Chopper in Lost. Drain at Mandalore. He gets Teihowed, which is fine because now you have the drain bonus going, so you get a drain of 2 and another drain of 2 here. I probably would have handled that into a drain of 3, like while he's flipped and you're not. So 651. That's that's Destiny. So Jedi Lev Lost. Who are you grabbing with that? All right, like, don't get me wrong. There's never a bad time to play a. There's never a bad time to get a guy with a lightsaber in your hand, but what's your goal there? Like if you're really worried about it, you go Ezra to the 2/2, use Ezra to grab Chopper with your once per game retrieval, drop Chopper with Ahsoka, so you're back to adding 5 to your draws, and then blow up that battle droid and say thanks for playing. Like this way, yeah, fine, you're going to hit him, but like you're going to lose a dude to do it. I don't know. I'd rather be a little more set up than doing that. And that's the other part of it, is like you do that, you move Han Chewie and the Falcon over to Lothal, and you're massively outdraining him. You're just not losing a lot. So you've got the hit here. You're going to force the Gick. I guess this isn't terrible. I just feel like you could have saved the Jedi Lev and been in an equally good position. Because you could have also just not added with your Destiny and instead just been like, all right, we'll see what you draw and then I'll subtract from it so I keep Kanan alive. And all you're doing is, fine, I'll just wipe out your droid. Like, it's not like he's going to just be able to... He's got 16 cards, but like, how scary is that one droid? Like, he loses the droid, he loses it to the racks, it costs him 6 next turn to get it back and redeploy it. Like, he doesn't have that much force to work with. So you're still kind of in that position. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is if you just leave Kanan there, you're fine with whatever. We're doing a swappy swap here. Put Wedge on blue 11. Yep. Yeah, I would have expected him to draw big, and that's what I'm saying. If you just get your stuff in place, so you grab 2 cards with Kanan when you deploy Ezra and you deploy Chopper, and you take him off of the site by just drawing Battle Destiny because he's got no immunity, and then subtracting from his, you end up in this same position, except you've now got the Jedi Lev still in hand, so you can use it to go get Luke next turn if you need it, and you've got your bonus, your objective bonus is a 5 instead of what's right now a 3, which is you realize Ezra retrieves this turn. Yeah. And some of this is learning. Like, you're not, as I've talked about, I'm, picking on you because A, you're in chat, so I can see what you're thinking about. But this is how we all get better, by watching games and discussing and going, what are lines to play? Because some of these weren't necessarily wrong or bad. And I'm just pausing for a second so I can do this without talking through stuff. Like, there are lines that are good, and then there are lines that are better. And the good line doesn't fail. Like, you're not... I don't particularly think you're in danger of losing this game. It feels like you're in a good position right now. But it'd be a mistake to say, well, I won the game, that was the right line. When you make the wrong play and you still win, that's okay, but it's not the ideal thing. Yep, it looks like you did the drain. Well, I guess you did the drains not optimally there, but he Teihow'd. He's going to Teihow one of them anyways, so you got a couple drains through, and you're okay with all of this. I think his After Her has hurt him here. The giving up that extra drain is bad. So there's Ezra. So now you're up to +4 to your draws. You get the Phantom, which is fine. Ezra. Honestly, you could grab either one of them. You can grab Chopper or you can grab Zeke's. So or Zeb. Chopper should go. Actually, target may not use game decks. Yeah, Chopper should just go kill that battle droid. And there's the concede as Nick realized it as well. Yeah, like I said, a lot of this in learning is think of different lines and go, okay, I use poker analogies occasionally. Like, I lost in a poker tournament fairly early on when I was playing once, where I had pocket aces raised pre-flop. One guy folds, flop comes out. I want to say it was like King 10 deuce. And it was bar poker, which was a thing in Minnesota for a while. So it was super low stakes, and sometimes people played like idiots. And I had about a third of my stack in the pot to start with, because it was a super short stacked, super fast structure. You needed to win. You accumulate chips quickly or you lose. And so I'm like, well, I've still got top pair. I'm kind of hoping he called with something like Ace King. And I shove, and he calls and flips over 7 deuce offsuit. So he called a raise for half his chips, or not quite half his chips, pre-flop with the worst hand in poker, and called my continuation bet with third pair. And he spiked a 7 on the river to win the game and stood up and, yeah, that's how you play poker. See, you wait till the cards come out. And all I could think of was, gosh, I really wish I could play with you more often, because I'm going to win that play 97% of the time. Like, I lost at that one, and I refrained from being real angry about it because, yeah, he played like an idiot at low stakes, and, he was a drunk idiot at a bar. Like, if there was real money involved, he might not have played that way, or he might have, and frankly, I'd take that play. Like, that's what you have to kind of consider sometimes. Like, did I win because I made the right play, or did I win in spite of making the wrong play? There, I think you got away with one. You made the, you ended up winning. Nick struggled to find Maul, I think, but I think 0 Hour is somewhat advantaged here as long as you can keep those trades going. And this is kind of what we were talking about with the, you get yourself set up where you're adding 5 to your drains or to your battle destinies. And as long as you're able to keep some guys in play, because he's going to draw a couple, but they're not going to be 10 or 12. And you can start, clearing off guys repeatedly, or you can alternate and look at, what he's drawing and go like, okay, I don't need to clear your guys. What I need to do is keep my guys alive so I can turn and rebeat. There's a lot of lines to play. I do think you played this one better than the first game. I think some of that is this is a much more winnable matchup. Like that first game, you were going to struggle no matter what. This one you played better. In a good matchup, you won a matchup I think you should be able to win. And there were some learning opportunities. A lot of it, yeah, sequencing the drains is something to consider with. Honestly, that Maul's not quite as frightening. Like, he's immune, but you can crack that immunity. And he's only going to get the saber twice. Like, and honestly, he's really only going to get it once because he doesn't have a way to pull it other than, just drawing into it. So, like, you put the pressure on with heavy drains. If he comes down with Maul, you kill Maul because you're adding 5 to your battle destiny. Like, there's no way you fail to crack his immunity there. So, like, Maul might have made things a little spicier for you in the sense of he'd have cost you a couple guys just on those swings. But it wasn't a, Nick if Nick is, I'm sure, and I know Nick's a very good player. Nick is not saying, well, if I'd have just found Maul turn 1, I win this game. Like, it's a lot closer, and he might be able to win it, but he might not. And it's, it still would have been a game, because paying for Maul would have slowed down all his other stuff. Like, you're paying for Maul, you're not dropping all those droids when he was. And you have to play a little cautious. And if you're playing a little cautious, if he's playing cautious, he's reacting to you, he's deploying guys not battling, that gives you the ability to go, okay, how do I battle on my terms? I put down enough guys that I can afford to lose one. I add 5 to my destiny, and suddenly we're talking about that game economy where I lose 1 guy, you lose 2 or 3. And that's, that's game. I will say I think the After Her was a huge mistake. Like, putting that there and then not going there was bad. He needed to put After Her somewhere where he was going to at least potentially get it and get that retrieval. Like, he really wanted to be using After Her a couple times. He wanted to put it there, get the retrieval, and go with it. So, but we got 3 games in, get you guys some, some fun stuff to watch, some things to learn. Got to see some, some new deck types in action, and some old favorites, Invasion, Revenge of the Sith, some Zero Hour, and just, hopefully you guys learned something, had some fun, got to, listen to me yell at Zach and tease him, and,